If you have about 8 minutes, I'd love to talk to you about how God promises that you'll never be lonely at Christmas again. If you don't have time or don't have the interest to stay around, I sure get it. Let us know how to pray for you before you slip out. There he was, nearly 80 years old, living in a sleepy village outside of Rome with his books and his 7 cats. His wife had been dead for 7 years, and his only daughter worked in Afghanistan. He lived a silent rhythm, seldom venturing out, rarely speaking to others. He was lonely. And on the day he decided to do something about it, Giorgio Angelosi put himself up for adoption. That's right. The octogenarian sought a family. He placed an ad in the paper. He announced 79-year-old seeks family in need of a grandfather, would bring 500 euros a month to a family willing to adopt him. Well, boy, did that ad change his life. The paper ran a front-page article about him, and inquiries poured in from around the world: Colombia, New Zealand, New Jersey. Angelosi was an overnight celebrity. He went from having nothing but time to barely having enough time to handle all the interviews and the requests. A pop star responded. A millionaire offered servants and a seaside villa. But there was one letter that stood out, Angelosi explained, because every member of the family, father, mother, sister, brother, had signed it. Last reports have him happily settled in their ground floor apartment, taking walks in the garden, helping with the dishes, and helping the kids with homework. I couldn't have chosen better, he says. Maybe it was luck, or maybe it was God looking after me. I don't know. I think the latter makes the best sense. You know, loneliness is never the product of heaven. Among our Maker's first recorded words were these: "It is not good for man to be alone." Genesis chapter 2 and verse 18. Boy, he gets no argument from us. I mean, we may relish moments of solitude, but a lifetime of it? No way. Many of us know the language of loneliness. No one knows me, the lonely person says. People know my name, but not my heart. They know my face, but not my feelings. I have a social security number, but I don't have a social life. I don't have a soulmate. No one really knows me. Moreover, no one's near me. You know, the last 2 years have taught us the meaning of words like social distancing and quarantine, leaving us lonelier than ever. We want someone to be near us. Ever since Eve emerged from the bones of Adam, we've been reaching out to touch one another. We know we belong together. We are connected, and we want to make a difference. Yes, the anthem of the lonely has a third sad chorus, and that is, no one needs me. The kids used to need me. The business used to need me. My spouse never needs me. The lonely fight these feelings of insignificance and desiring to be remembered. One wealthy Midwest man had an ATM machine installed at his gravesite so that when his heirs wanted cash from his estate, they had to go to his grave. They had to enter a PIN number, and they had to take the receipt to the bank. He didn't want to be forgotten. The lonely fear they will be. A recent study set out to determine the percentage of people who suffer from moderate to severe loneliness. What number would you think their study revealed? 30%, 40%, 50%? I was surprised when I read the results. 76%. A stunning 3 out of 4 people you and I see each day self-identify as lonely. The study also showed that loneliness is associated with declines in physical health, mental health, and cognition. It has the same impact on our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Loneliness takes its toll on us. So what do? How do we manage thoughts of isolation? How do we cope with loneliness? Well, some people stay busy. Others stay drunk. Some buy pets. Others buy lovers. Some seek therapy. And a few seek God. This is God's plan. His ultimate solution for loneliness, it's not found in a bar or a dating service, a spouse, or a social club. God's cure for the lonely heart lies in a manger. Yes, the babe of Bethlehem, Emmanuel. Do you remember the promise of the angel? Behold, the virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which is translated, God is with us, Matthew 1:23. Emmanuel, the name appears the same in Hebrew form as it did 2,000 years ago. Imanu means with us. El refers to Elohim. Jesus came as the with us God, not content to be an above us God or somewhere in the vicinity God. He came as the with us God, God with us, not just God with the rich or God with the religious, but God with us, all of us, God with the Russians, with the Germans, with the truck and taxi drivers, librarians and libertarians, God with us. We love the word with, don't we? Will you go with me, we ask, to the store, to the hospital, through my life? God says, I will. I am with you always, Jesus said before he ascended to heaven, to the very end of the age. Matthew 28 and verse 20. Search for the restrictions on the promise and you'll find none. Nothing like, I'll be with you if you behave, or when you believe, or I'll be with you on Sundays in worship at Mass. No, none of that. No withholding tax on his with us promise. He is with us. He is with us. God is with us. Prophets weren't enough. Apostles won't do. Angels won't suffice. God sent more than miracles and more than messages. He sent himself. He sent his Son. The Word became flesh, wrote the Apostle John, and dwelt among us. Chapter 1 and verse 14. A friend of mine recently moved from San Antonio to Houston. He had to spend the prior 2 months commuting back and forth. He saw less of his children than any of them preferred. One evening, he called to tell his 3-year-old son good night. But the boy had had enough of this long-distance daddy stuff. I don't want his voice, he objected. I want him. For thousands of years, God gave us his voice. Prior to Bethlehem, he gave his messengers, his teachers, his words. But in the manger, God gave us himself. In God's great gospel, he not only sins, he becomes. He not only looks down, he lives among. He not only talks with us, he listens to us. He is one of us. And he is here to help us face lonely times. Now, odds are I'm speaking to some folks who cannot relate. You do not know the fear or the pain of loneliness. God bless you, and may that describe you for the rest of your life. But for those of you who can relate, who know the language of loneliness, I would like to encourage you to let God be the friend he so is willing and longing to be in your life. Just talk to him. Just talk to him. And let him be the presence of Christmas. Jesus, who became one of us so that we could become one with him. And because of him, you can claim this promise. I'll never be lonely at Christmas again. All the best, my friend.